There are moments in life when the air feels heavier, when silence itself seems to whisper a warning. This is one of those moments. Tonight's message is not casual. It carries weight, urgency, and a call that cannot be delayed. Being chosen does not mean being greater than others. It means carrying a responsibility that others may not yet be ready to bear. The world often confuses strength with noise, but true mastery is quiet, disciplined, and deeply aware. A Shaolin teaching says, every moment unguarded is a step away from mastery. Those who drift through life without awareness lose their power before they even realize it. In this video, we will journey into principles rarely spoken outside the temple walls. Why silence is more dangerous than words, how breath can transform fear into unshakable presence, and why simplicity is the ultimate form of power. We will uncover the hidden law of attention, a teaching that shows how distraction silently steals your destiny. These are not theories. These are practices that have shaped warriors, monks, and seekers for centuries. If you stay with me until the end, you will not simply hear wisdom. You will understand why being chosen is not a title, but a daily act of courage. You will see that urgency is not about the end of time, but about the beginning of true mastery. Welcome, seekers of strength and clarity, to Shaolin Soulfire. If you feel the fire stirring within, join this path with us. Subscribe and walk forward as one of the chosen, awake, disciplined, and ready. There is a gate that few ever see, though it stands before every person each day. It is not made of stone or wood, but of choice and awareness. This gate is called discipline, and without it, no path of mastery can be walked. To be chosen means you cannot allow the mind to wander without direction. The mind is like a temple, and every careless thought is like dust settling on its floor. Leave it long enough, and the sacred space becomes unrecognizable. Discipline is the act of sweeping that temple daily, not with harshness but with care. Many believe discipline is punishment. They see it as restriction, a chain that limits freedom, but in truth, discipline is alignment. It brings the body, the mind, and the spirit into one straight line. A river with no banks becomes a flood, destroying everything in its path. A river with clear boundaries becomes power, life, and movement. When you notice your thoughts drifting, this is not failure. This is the training ground. The moment you return to the center, even if you must return 1,000 times, you are strengthening the gate. Each return is a reminder that you are not the servant of your thoughts. You are the one who guides them. In Shaolin practice, the monk sits in silence, not to escape the world, but to face the storms within. The mind rebels. Distractions arrive. Old fears surface, yet each time the breath calls the mind back, the gate becomes stronger. This is discipline, not dramatic, not loud, but steady as the rising sun. To guard the inner temple is to honor the gift of being chosen, for only a guarded mind can carry the weight of true responsibility. There is a power that cannot be seen, yet it shapes every word, every choice, every step. It is the power of silence. In a world that shouts for attention, silence is the rarest weapon. It does not wound through force, but through clarity. It cuts not with sound, but with presence. The Shaolin masters have long understood this truth. They train not only in movement but in stillness. For hours, they sit unmoving, letting the storms of thought and emotion rise and fall. The silence is not empty. It is a mirror. Within it they see their own chaos, their own fears, their own pride. In facing these without words, they begin to master them. When provoked, the ordinary mind rushes to defend, to prove, to attack. But the chosen one pauses. The pause is not weakness, it is strength. In silence, there is space to see the truth hidden beneath anger or insult. To respond too quickly is to be captured by another's fire. To remain silent is to guard your own flame. There is an ancient saying, thunder is loud, but it does not last. The mountain is silent, and it endures. This is the secret of silence. Words may scatter energy, but silence gathers it, condenses it, makes it unshakable. The chosen do not use silence to escape responsibility. They use it to sharpen perception. Silence becomes the shield that protects the mind from being pulled into chaos, and the sword that cuts through illusion. To answer with silence when provoked is to say, I am not ruled by your storm. My ground is steady, my temple is guarded, my spirit is free. In this, silence becomes more powerful than any weapon forged by hand. In moments of fear, the body betrays us first. The breath quickens, the chest tightens, and the mind begins to race. This is why the Shaolin tradition places breath at the center of training. Breath is not merely air moving in and out. It is the bridge between body and spirit, the thread that binds awareness to the present moment. When a monk steps into training, the first lesson is not how to strike, but how to breathe. Each inhale draws in steadiness, each exhale releases tension. Over time, the rhythm of breath becomes a shield. Fear cannot grip a heart that breathes slowly. Anger cannot dominate a mind that breathes deeply. Breath is the anchor holding the practitioner steady in seas that would drown the untrained. There are stories of Shaolin warriors standing calm while surrounded by chaos, their faces serene even as danger pressed close. The secret was not supernatural strength, it was the mastery of breath. By guiding the breath, they guided the mind. By guiding the mind, they guided the body. To be chosen means carrying this calmness into stormy situations. When others lose themselves to panic, your breath keeps you centered. When the noise of the world demands reaction, your breath returns you to presence. Every inhale is a reminder that life flows now, not in the fears of tomorrow or the regrets of yesterday. Every exhale is a letting go, a clearing of space for clarity and courage. In this way, breath is not only survival, it is power. Power to remain unshaken, power to turn fear into focus, power to walk through the storm with steady steps, carrying within you the stillness that no wind can move. Breath is the silent strength of the chosen. There is a strength that does not announce itself, a strength that walks softly yet endures storms that would break mountains. The Shaolin call this hidden strength, the kind that bends without shattering. It is the strength of bamboo in the wind, flexible, humble, yet unyielding in its roots. True resilience is rarely loud. It does not seek recognition. It does not demand to be seen. Instead, it reveals itself in the quiet ability to stand again after falling, to rise each time life presses down. Gentleness, in this way, is not weakness, but a deeper kind of power. The stream that flows around stone will, in time, carve valleys that even fire cannot undo. The chosen are called to cultivate this quiet strength. They do not flaunt their power or chase the applause of the world. To do so would weaken the very core of their being, making them fragile to praise and criticism alike. Instead, they tend to their strength as one tends to a hidden fire, shielding it from the wind, feeding it slowly, allowing it to grow steady and enduring. There is an ancient lesson told of a monk who was struck again and again in training, yet never raised his voice, never retaliated in anger. Observers thought him weak, but when danger finally came, his body moved with precision, his spirit unshaken. His strength had been cultivated in silence, hidden from sight, but ready when it was needed most. This is the principle of hidden strength. It is patience disguised as stillness, resilience clothed in gentleness. It is power that needs no witness because it is not for display, it is for survival, for service, and for the quiet dignity of walking the path without breaking. The mind is like a lamp. Wherever it shines, energy follows. This is why the ancients taught energy flows where attention goes. To scatter attention is to scatter strength. To guard attention is to gather power. Distraction is the silent thief. It does not strike with noise or violence, but with small cuts, an endless stream of temptations pulling the mind away from its path. Each moment lost to distraction drains the spirit, like water leaking from a cracked vessel. The chosen cannot afford such waste, for their path is narrow, and their calling is heavy. In Shaolin practice, focus is trained with the same intensity as the body. A monk may hold a single posture for hours, not to display endurance, but to sharpen attention until it becomes unbreakable. Every tremor of muscle, every thought of giving up, is observed without judgment, then gently redirected. This is self-defense at its highest form, not against enemies outside, but against the forces that weaken from within. There is a story of a master who was asked how he defeated so many opponents without being touched. He replied, "I never fought them. I fought only my own wandering mind." In this lies the truth. Most battles are lost before they begin, because the mind is unfocused, restless, divided. To guard energy is to live with intention. It means choosing carefully where to place attention, as a farmer chooses where to plant seeds. It means saying no to the noise that demands reaction, and yes to the silence that builds strength. Protecting focus is not withdrawal from life. It is a deeper engagement, where every action carries purpose, and every step moves closer to mastery. The greatest battlefield is not found on distant lands, but within the mind itself. Shaolin philosophy teaches you cannot conquer the world if you have not faced yourself. To walk as one of the chosen is to stand before the mirror of truth, where nothing can be hidden. Every person carries a shadow, the parts of themselves they fear, deny, or reject. Anger buried too deeply becomes bitterness. Fear unacknowledged becomes hesitation. Pride ignored turns into blindness. These shadows do not disappear simply because they are ignored. Instead, they wait, gaining strength, guiding choices from the hidden places of the heart. The mirror is the practice of seeing oneself clearly. In meditation, when silence removes distraction, the shadows rise to the surface. Many turn away, unsettled by what they find, but the chosen remain. They breathe, they watch, they learn. For only by naming the shadow can it be transformed. There is a story of a young monk who struggled with rage. He sought to suppress it, pretending it did not exist. Yet the more he denied it, the more it erupted in sudden bursts. His master told him, "Sit with your rage as you would sit with a guest. Offer it a place, listen to its voice, and then let it leave." In time, the monk no longer feared his anger. It became a teacher, showing him where strength and compassion were needed most. This is the way of the chosen: to confront weakness with honesty, to meet fear with courage, to accept illusion and strip it away. What you refuse to face will control you. What you bring into the light will free you. The mirror does not lie, but it does heal. Mastery is not measured by how much one collects, but by how much one can release. Complexity often appears impressive: grand words, elaborate systems, endless possessions, but beneath the surface it is a mask. Simplicity, on the other hand, strips away illusions and reveals the truth that was always there. The chosen walk lightly, not because they lack, but because they know what is essential. Their clarity does not come from adding more, but from removing what does not serve. In this way, simplicity is not poverty, it is precision. It is choosing the straight path instead of wandering through a maze. Shaolin teachings often return to this principle. A single movement, practiced with full attention, is more powerful than 1,000 performed without focus. One honest word carries more strength than endless speeches filled with noise. Simplicity sharpens, while complexity distracts. There is a story of a monk asked why his life seemed so empty of possessions. He smiled and said, "Because I do not wish to carry stones when I can carry air." What he meant was clear: everything we cling to becomes weight. Every object, every attachment, every unnecessary thought is a stone in the basket of the mind. The more stones we carry, the harder the path becomes. The chosen live differently. In every decision, they ask, does this add weight, or does it set me free? Does this choice bring clarity, or does it cloud the way? By asking these questions, life becomes simple, but never shallow. Simplicity is not less. It is more of what matters. It is the mark of one who has seen through the masks of the world and chosen to walk in freedom with nothing to hide. True mastery is measured not by what one acquires, but by what one gives. To be chosen is not a privilege for personal gain, it is a responsibility toward the world. Strength that serves only the self is fragile, for it is tied to ego and circumstance. Strength that serves others becomes eternal, carried forward through every life it touches. In Shaolin tradition, The monk trains not merely to perfect forms or to attain skill, but to protect life itself. Every movement, every strike, every breath is guided by the understanding that the purpose of power is not to dominate, but to safeguard. The body becomes a tool, the mind a shield, the heart a source of steady compassion. Service transforms discipline into something greater. Without service, discipline can harden into rigidity, pride, or cruelty. With service, discipline softens into wisdom. A master who bends himself for the needs of others strengthens not only those around him but himself as well. Every act of care, every patient correction, every silent intervention becomes a reflection of mastery practiced in the highest form. There is a story of a monk who, during a harsh winter, carried water from a distant spring to feed the village's elders. Each day he could have chosen ease, but he did not. His strength, honed through decades of practice, was not for display, it was for life. In doing for others what he might have done for himself, his mastery deepened, and the respect of the village arose not from fear, but from gratitude and trust. The chosen must remember this. Service is the bridge between discipline and compassion, between power and humility. Ego diminishes, purpose expands. Every step taken in the service of others transforms the energy of mastery into a light that cannot be extinguished. True power is invisible, yet it is the force that sustains the world. There is a fire that burns quietly within the chosen, a flame that warms without scorching, illuminates without blinding. It is not fueled by anger, pride, or desire, but by the steadfastness of spirit. This flame is unbreakable, for it is rooted in clarity, discipline, and the acceptance of life as it comes. Courage is often misunderstood. Many believe it is the absence of fear, but the Shaolin teach otherwise. True courage is action in the presence of fear. It is moving forward when the heart trembles, standing firm when the mind whispers to flee. The chosen carry this courage not as a shield to protect themselves, but as a beacon to guide their path through uncertainty. In the training halls of the monastery, mastery is measured not by how easily a monk defeats an opponent, but by how he conquers the struggle within. Every doubt, every hesitation, every thought of retreat is a battle against defeat itself. Those who master this inner struggle find that the external world bends to their steadiness. The fire within is disciplined, refined by practice and patience, and it cannot be extinguished by circumstance or threat. There's a story of a warrior faced with overwhelming odds, alone against forces that seemed insurmountable. Though fear gripped him, he moved with clarity and calm, each step deliberate, each action purposeful. In that moment, the fire inside carried him. It was not the force of arms that prevailed, but the unshakable spirit that refused to yield. The chosen must understand that this inner flame is their true power. It does not consume, it protects, it does not rage, it sustains. Mastery is not about defeating others, it is about mastering the self, overcoming every shadow, every doubt, every defeat, until the spirit burns steadily, unbreakable and eternal. The path of the chosen is not an easy one, but it is clear. To walk awake while others sleep is to see the world as it truly is, and to respond with wisdom rather than instinct. It is choosing discipline over chaos, silence over noise, breath over panic, resilience over pride, and service over self. The urgency of this message is not meant to alarm, but to awaken. Time is fleeting, and the opportunity to cultivate mastery, presence, and purpose is now. The chosen do not wait for the world to change. They carry the light of change within themselves, shaping each moment with intention and calm strength. Take these lessons into your daily life. Guard your mind, nurture your inner fire, let silence guide your response, and serve without expectation. In small acts of awareness and discipline, the essence of the chosen path becomes tangible. Every breath, every choice, every moment of attention is a step toward mastery. Walk forward gently but firmly, carrying the calm strength of one who knows the value of each moment. Let your life reflect the quiet power, resilience, and service that the path of the chosen requires. If this message has stirred something within you, take it as a reminder to live with presence and purpose. Join us on this journey. Like this video, subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, and continue walking the path of mastery, step by step, breath by breath, flame by flame.